So the time has come. We are finally going to leave the marina here at Puerto Real and head to the Dominican. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you've been following our channel, you know that most of our sailing adventures come in the way of chartering catamarans in beautiful destinations. But in this video, I'm taking you along with me on a mile building trip as I help crew La Peregrina, a 34-foot monohull from Puerto Rico to the Dominican Republic. On the way, we'll see some remote anchorages, see some amazing sights that few ever get to see. And the part I'm looking forward to the most is getting to do my longest passage yet across the dreaded Mona Passage. What is that, you ask? Well, here's what some fellow YouTubers have to say about it.
It's where the Atlantic and the Caribbean meet, and one of the feeding currents to make the Gulf Stream comes through there as well, so like, it's nasty.
That's area of water called the Mona Passage.
The Mona Passage, it is quite a difficult passage.
So we're currently in the north end of the Mona Pass. Apparently it has a reputation I was unaware of. Apparently it can suck sailors in and spit them out.
And I have never ever seen the Mona Passage where it was calm.
And sailing across the Mona Passage.
We went across the Mona Passage.
Across the Mona Passage.
If you grew up in Puerto Rico, all you hear about are the horrible, horrible stories from the Mona Passage. And we're sailing right through it.
It's always just nasty.
Mona Passage, Mona Passage. So yeah, call me crazy, but that's what I'm excited about. But before we get to the amazing sailing that I promised, here's a little bit about us and what our channel is about in case you're watching us for the first time.
We are Gilligan and Brian, high school sweethearts from Stillwater, Oklahoma. We have a love for adventure and a passion for sailing. For now, our channel showcases our sailing experiences through bareboat charters, along with the unique places we discover while traveling with friends and family. Soon, we hope to leave the daily grind behind and fulfill our dream of crewing our own catamaran. Subscribe and join us as we explore the Caribbean's best beaches, bars, and breathtaking sunsets, one anchorage at a time.
We departed from Puerto del Rey Marina, which is massive. In fact, it's the largest marina in all of the Caribbean. It was raining when I arrived, so I found our slip and met my fellow crewmates, Joe, the captain and owner of La Peregrina, and Dan, an avid sailor who has spent most of his life sailing small boats with his family and in local sailing clubs. Now, when I tell people I was on a boat for 8 days, I feel like this is what they imagine. A life of luxury on board a large yacht that looks, well, something like this one. But in fact, we were on a boat right here. That's right, a much smaller, very well maintained boat that was perfect to sleep the 3 guys for the trip. After a thorough safety briefing, Joe went to check us out of the marina so we could get underway, while Dan and I got settled into the boat we would call home for the next 8 days. Whew, I look terrible. All right, hey guys, just going to take you on a quick little tour of the inside of La Peregrina. So, this is the salon, a couple settees. Joe has the boat outfitted really well. Plenty of books, plenty of food, a lot of storage on the boat. Already had some coffee and safety briefing. So, extra sails. I have the aft cabin. So that's kind of small, but more room than what I thought would be on a 34-foot boat. Plenty of storage over here. Got a V-berth in the front. Pretty large bathroom. There's a shower in the bathroom. But yeah, pretty good size in here. After the rain moved out, it got hot fast, and we had a long sail ahead of us on day one, so we wasted no time getting underway. I lathered up with some sunscreen, and we got the lines pulled and headed out of the marina.
Gotcha. Thanks for your help.
Okay. Sir. Okay, have a safe trip, guys.
You get some pictures.
Underway.
I gotta document it too. We gotta get a picture of John.
Yeah. Day one, leaving the dock here in Puerto Rico. Next stop, Dominican Republic. In 8 days.
Blue is the color of the ocean. Blue is the color of the sky. All my life there's been commotion. Calming settles in your eyes. Sitting right here next to me. There's nothing, no, there's nothing we should do. Sitting right here next to me. There's nothing.
It wasn't long before we were in deeper water when the wind picked up and the swell grew to about 6 to 8 feet. But with the wind blowing on our beam, we were making great time, so we decided to push past our first anchorage and head further down the coast. We came into our anchorage after dark, and we were greeted by a lively scene of a few restaurants and bars nearby that provided some much needed light since there was no moonlight. How's the depth looking, Dan?
Depth meter shows 9.2. 9 feet? Yeah.
After dropping anchor and making sure our holding was good, we enjoyed a few cocktails while we made dinner. For 3 guys on a boat, we ate pretty well. Joe reminded us throughout the week that we were living like kings, and I couldn't agree more. Man. Hi, good morning, guys. So today we're in Puerto Priartes on the south side of Puerto Rico. Got in about 40 miles yesterday. Good sailing, couple squalls, good wind, big swell. But man, had a good sail first day. Everybody got acquainted. Joe and Dan, great guys, had fun, and yeah, having some morning coffees, a morning swim, and just enjoying the anchorage. So show you guys a little bit about the quiet anchorage here. There's only a couple other boats. I think we're the only ones actually occupying the boats, but just a nice, quiet little morning. So. Since we were ahead of schedule, we decided to take the dinghy into town and explore a little bit. To the ledge, are we?
Dan gave us a full.
Yeah.
Right.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, this is like the real. You don't see this.
And man, Joe was so right. As we walked, I realized how remote of a place we were actually in. Not very many tourists will travel to an area like this while on vacation. Here, there are no cruise ship ports or excursion boats, just us and mainly the locals that live here in the area. After a short walk, we found this cool little restaurant with a cool patio bar. So we enjoyed a cold cerveza and enjoyed the view of La Peregrina anchored out in the bay. After grabbing lunch and some ice for the boat, we headed back to pick up and move further down the southern coast of Puerto Rico to our next anchorage. Again on day 2, we were sailing into a beautiful sunset. I was up front trying to capture it when I looked back and I saw the huge smiles on Dan and Joe's faces. What do you guys think of the sunset sail?
Yeah.
Day 2.
It's beautiful. We live like kings.
Absolutely. Hey guys, so haven't done a lot of recording, man. We've been busy. The weather has been great. The swells have been really large, so really haven't been able to kind of get out of the cockpit and come talk to you guys a lot. But man, we're kind of coming to a end of day 2. We're going to be coming into a very challenging anchorage with a lot of shallow water, probably a lot of boats. It's going to be dark, so I'm going to show you guys some of the sunset. But yeah, probably going to put the camera away because that way we can focus on coming into an anchorage that none of us have been to. But man, this is a great time. It's been an awesome trip so far, and it's only day 2, so we've seen a lot of cool things here. But yeah, really enjoying Joe and Dan and our trip so far. So yeah, stick around for the rest of the trip. Our anchorage for day 2 was Bahia de Jobos. Once inside, it was wide open with only a handful of boats, but the inlets getting in were quite narrow and surrounded by reef. We managed to squeeze in and drop anchor, and once we did, Joe made a celebratory drinks for the crew that was one of my favorites, a Goombay Smash. He said it was his wife's recipe, and man was it good. So Joe, tell me what you got going on there.
Goombay smashes on La Peregrina.
Goombay Smash. So we had our first Goombay Smashes at Miss Emily's Bee Bar. We had a video on it, and Joe was surprising us when we got on anchor here with some Goombay Smashes.
Blue, I call that steel.
Oh yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Goombay Smashes.
First Goombay Smash.
What's Dan's reaction?
It's good.
Yeah. Good.
Woke up this morning with the sunrise in my eyes. Just like a new day, a breath of fresh air in my life. I don't know how, don't know why, but I'll be toasting all my life.
On day 3, we woke up to another stunning sunrise. The anchorage was surrounded by mangroves, so we put the dinghy down and decided to go explore.
My ride's sweeter to meet the one I love. I don't know how, don't know why, but I'll be toasting all my life.
It was a nice, peaceful ride exploring the mangroves. Plenty of birds and things to see. After an hour or so, we headed back to the boat, and par for the course, the winds pick up and the people in the front of the dinghy get soaked. But hey, I'm not complaining. This is part of the adventure and adventure sailing.
Hey Joe, Dan and I are getting wet up here.
All right. The anchor is up. Where are we headed to?
Playa de Salinas.
Captain Joe's Spanish is just about as bad as mine.
Yeah.
Playa del Salinas. That's our next anchorage.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
short sail over there, about an hour. It's only about 4 or 5 miles. So, headed to the next spot. It was just a short sail and the wind was to our backs, so we only put out the head sail and we had the dinghy in tow. When we arrived into Salinas, we found the busiest anchorage by far we visited during the entire trip. There were boats on anchor everywhere, as well as mooring balls. Everything from small day trip boats to a few large catamarans that appeared to be for crude charters. We snaked our way through the anchorage to the front and found a spot just big enough to anchor. While the anchorage had tons of boats, most of them seemed to be unoccupied, and we found that it wasn't the most convenient for cruisers coming off of a boat. After circling for a while and asking several people, we finally found a dinghy dock we could use to grab some dinner. Then we turned in early. The next day we had another long sail to presumably the crew's favorite stop of the entire trip. Now, I came on this trip to improve my sailing skills, but honestly, if I came home having improved on anything, it would be my barista skills, because if there was one thing that Dan and Joe took serious, it was their morning coffee. Hey, good morning everybody. We are waking up this morning. It's still early. It's about 6:30, so perfect time for a cup of coffee and enjoy the nice sunrise. We're in a anchorage here in Salinas. So went out last night, had some dinner, but man, it's just a nice, busy anchorage. It was very busy yesterday when we got in. Had a lot of boats. It's kind of thinned out a little bit. I don't know if it was the weekend crowd or what, but yeah, just having a cup of coffee, enjoying the nice breeze this morning. We're going to get underway. We have about 15 miles to the next little small island that we're going. It looks pretty cool. It's looks like maybe some beach time or some water, be able to swim a little bit and cool off. The temperature hasn't been too bad. Man, the wind's been blowing really hard the last couple days. So we are on, I guess we're on day 4. Yeah, day 4. But anyway, the wind's been blowing. Last couple of days, I really haven't been able to talk a whole lot on camera, but this morning it's nice and calm, so I figured I would talk to you guys a little bit. But no, today we're gonna pull up anchor here in a little bit. We got about a 15-mile sail today down to a small little island. Show you guys that obviously later whenever we get there, but just for now, just enjoying the nice calm morning and a cup of coffee to get the day going. Is it up? Throughout the week, we took turns at the helm. I started today first, and when I was relieved, I headed to the bow to stretch my legs and enjoy the breeze. Now, up to this point, the names of the places that we have visited have been difficult for me to pronounce. But the next island was not only hard to pronounce, but when I did some research, I was really kind of nervous to go there. This is Isla Caja de Muertos. Or, if you just Google it, it translates to Coffin Island. Yeah, that's not sketchy at all. But how can such a beautiful island get such a scary name? Well, there's only one way to find out. So let's go ashore and see what the island is all about.
Someday, somehow, you'll see I'll be longing, I'm free. Come hell or high water, I'm gonna make you love me. Come hell or high water, I'm gonna make you love me.
We shared the anchorage with only one other boat, which didn't appear to be occupied. So we dinghied ashore and decided to go for a hike, which turned out to be the best photo op of the entire trip.
This is Coffin Island. Gorgeous. Wow, what a incredible anchorage this has turned out to be. We didn't know before we got here. We didn't know what it was going to be like. It looked like just kind of a secluded island, and it is exactly that. Just us and one other boat and a little day trip boat. So there's 10 or 12 people on the beach just enjoying the beach. We just did an amazing hike. We're going to show you some video of that. But yeah, so I'll flip over, show you guys some of the island here. I'm so glad that Joe put this stop onto our trip. This has been an awesome, awesome anchorage. Check out this beautiful spot.
After an epic day of sailing and exploring, we headed back to the boat. Another remote anchorage meant another boat meal. So once the sun began to set, Joe whipped up some of his famous shrimp stir fry. Then, after dinner, Joe played us some of his favorite music. Who would have thought the most romantic night we had during the trip would have been listening to a steel guitar and harmonica under the stars at Coffin Island.
Every time you show up smiling, you got me. Never knew how you played alone. When the time comes.
The next day, we woke up to a lot of wind and a few squalls. So we wasted no time getting underway because our next stop was one of the most famous islands of all time, Gilligan's Island.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour.
Now, do we know if this is the actual island where the SS Minnow and its crew were stranded? No. But since we're going right by there, we decided we should at least stop and take a look. Well, we didn't locate any SS Minnow at Gilligan's Island, which is right here. But we did find a nice secluded anchorage to hide from the winds that we had all day long. On this trip, each anchorage has been completely different. Each has its own beauty or character that makes them special. But I was starting to get excited about the crossing to the Dominican Republic. While I didn't want to rush the trip, I was definitely excited about getting offshore and experiencing an overnight sail across the Mona Passage. This night, we just laid low on the boat. Dan made us tacos and we turned in early, knowing the next day might be a very long one. Hey guys, had a beautiful sail today. I don't know, we were on the water probably 5 hours maybe. Anyway, left about 1 o'clock. It's as you can see, the beautiful sunset is behind me. But yeah, coming into Puerto Real. This is going to be our last stop before we make the crossover to the Dominican. So just coming in to get a spot at the Marina and be able to provision and grab probably dinner and a couple beers off the boat. Yeah, before we spend all night on the boat tomorrow. So yeah, here's the Marina, guys. With the high winds and large swell causing a concern offshore, we got a slip at Marina, Puerto Real for the night to be able to get a few boat projects done and prepare for the crossing. Jill wanted help sending him up the mast to check the wind instruments before we left. Hey y'all, so we just got into Puerto Real and yeah, grabbing a couple beers here at the bar and kind of settling in for the night. A short walk from the marina, we found this pizza place with some great food. The weather here in the marina was really nice, but offshore, the wind was blowing like crazy. The Mona Passage was looking to be quite rough, so we waited an additional day here in the marina. We spent the next few days resting, grabbing some food, and catching up on our personal hygiene using the freshwater showers here in the marina. Hey you guys, so I'm hanging out here in the salon in the boat. We're probably going to be out of the marina here in the next hour or so, go out here and drop anchor. And tonight we are headed for Punta Cana for the Dominican Republic to the Cap Cana Marina. But we should be out of here just before sunset. So looking forward to pulling out, setting sail on my first overnight offshore sail. With the sunsets here have been great. So really looking forward to the crossing tonight and excited to see my beautiful wife tomorrow in Punta Cana. So yeah. Just excited to get going. We've been here in the marina longer than what we thought, but just kind of waiting on a weather window. We got some expert advice last night. Captain Joe has a kind of a consulting, not a trip planner, but a lot of cruisers, they have basically experts that you can send your information to. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm going. Can you look at my path and the recommended route and look at the weather and tell me whether or not you think that we should go or not? And he got a second opinion. We were kind of leaning towards leaving yesterday, but he got a second opinion, and they came back and said, yeah, probably shouldn't go. So, erring on the side of caution, he made the determination just to stay put, which, you know, you have to keep the crew safe. That's number one. And so, yeah, we're leaving today, which probably was the normal or the original plan anyway. But yeah, so leaving tonight. Excited to get going and excited to see the Dominican Republic for the first time. We left our slip and dropped anchor in the bay just outside of the marina. We had only a few things left to prepare the boat for the crossing. We secured the dinghy onto the bow of the boat, and we also installed jack lines. Jack lines are a line running down both sides of the boat. During the overnight passage, if the crew needed to adjust the sails or leave the cockpit for any reason, we could clip our life vest to the jack lines, preventing us from going overboard. As 5 o'clock rolled around, so did a squall, so we made a pot of coffee and hunkered down for a bit. After about an hour, we put on our rain gear and decided to get underway. Not long after, the rain stopped and the wind from the storm was giving us quite the push as we started our 70-mile trip across the Mona Passage.
All right, hey guys, we are underway, leaving Puerto Real and headed to Punta Cana, to the Dominican. So we got delayed a little bit, rain and weather, but we have the dinghy loaded up on the bow of the boat. We've got jack lines ready to go. Yeah, it takes a little while to get everything ready, but man, we just spent today kind of relaxing, and Captain Joe cooked some meals, got food ready, and yeah, we're just taking off, headed to the Dominican. So stick around, watch the Mona Passage. We hopefully will have better weather than what we would have had yesterday.
As we left, we were protected from Puerto Rico from the swell out of the east. But as we got further and further from land, the seas got higher and higher. We left Puerto Real about 6 p.m. and we were hoping to arrive in the Dominican around 8 a.m., making the crossing in about 14 hours. Throughout the night, the crew did 3-hour watches at the helm. Dan started the trip from 6 to 9, I relieved him at 9, and then Joe. And we repeated this until we reached the Marina the next morning. It was nice to have a break, but both Dan and we didn't get much sleep. It was both our first time being on a passage that far away from land, so we were pretty excited.
Just you wait, listen for the storm. Hear the difference in the wind.
After dark, Joe adjusted the hydrovane, which served as our autopilot throughout the night. The wind was pretty consistent all night, from about 14 to 20 knots, and we were on a starboard tack on a broad reach the entire trip. At some point in the middle of the night, it is kind of an eerie feeling when the only person talking to you is the Coast Guard guy on the radio putting out small craft advisories for the rough sea conditions.
Rico, this is the United States Coast Guard, Sector San Puerto Rico. For unscheduled safety marine information broadcast regarding a small craft advisory from Puerto Rico in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Ship and listen channel 22 Alpha 157, just 1 megahertz. Out.
Steady, building steam like a thunderhead. Armed and ready with the lights you overheard. start to turn around again. Far away when the hurricane, oh, that old hurricane comes.
We arrived in Punta Cana about 8:30 a.m., making the passage about 14 and a half hours. As we pulled into Marina Cap Cana, we were flying a Dominican courtesy flag and also a gold Q flag, which alerts customs and immigration that we are requesting to be cleared into the country. Once on the dock, checking into customs and immigration was kind of an ordeal, so I didn't get any footage. We were tired, and because it took so long, we were in a bit of a time crunch to get Dan off the boat to make his flight. And also, I had a special guest waiting for me at a resort here in the Dominican. A huge thanks to Joe and Dan. This trip was great, but it made it even better having two awesome people to enjoy the experience with. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and check out next week's video where I take a taxi an hour across the Dominican to meet up with Gilligan at an all-inclusive resort here for some rest and relaxation.